Good afternoon and welcome. I want to begin by expressing my appreciation for everyone's flexibility and resiliency during this pandemic. I don't think that any of us expected to be where we are when we started the spring semester. Guiding and supporting you on your educational path has always been our highest priority, only superseded by health and safety. When we were faced with this pandemic a few weeks ago, it certainly felt like an immense ravine. Nevertheless, our faculty and staff have worked tirelessly to construct a bridge across this ravine through our online and remote services so that we can safely cross together and continue on our path. Thank you to everyone for your efforts. Students, please continue to let us know how we can help ensure that you're supported. I do want to provide you a few updates, and then I'd like to answer some of the questions that are being posted. First and foremost, all of our classes except one will begin on Monday, March 30th, through remote delivery or online. The one class is a student with disabilities class, and students in the one class will be contacted for other arrangements. We'll have no face-to-face instruction or services until at least May 4th. But again, all of our classes, except for the one, will begin on March 30th. There are a few classes that have external requirements that require face-to-face contact, including some nursing classes and some emergency medical technician classes. Those classes will continue online or remote delivery, and then whenever the Safer at Home order is lifted and we're able to continue with more face-to-face instruction, then we'll be able to meet the needs to complete those classes. But out of the nearly 1,400 class sections at Valley College, that only affects about 30. So well over 1,300 sections will be completely moved to remote delivery or online and continue on Monday. Also, please note that on Tuesday, it is a holiday, Cesar Chavez Day, so there'll be no classes on Tuesday, March 31st. I recently sent out a message to all students letting them know how to access various student services, including library services, tutoring, counseling, admissions, and records. We'll continue to send out information and updates via text and emails. We'll also be posting that on our website, so please take a look for any additional information. Many folks have had questions about how to drop classes. There are some special provisions that are being implemented statewide to give us flexibility in allowing students to drop at any time with designation of EW. It's not yet been determined exactly how that EW will appear, but it will have no effect on students' GPAs or financial aid. And students won't need to drop immediately. Students can continue to try to make the transition to online, and at any time before the end of the semester, they'll be able to drop for that designation. So there's no need to take any action immediately. Students can try out and try to continue with the online classes, and that'll be okay. If you don't have a laptop or access to a laptop, I'll again encourage you to look at the email. The district has secured a limited number of Chromebooks for your use. Some were passed out last weekend, and those stocks were quickly used up, but some additional Chromebooks are on their way, and you can access them and get details on how to apply for one of the Chromebooks in the instructions on the email that was sent out to you. Similarly, there's also a couple of service providers that are making free wireless internet services available for 60 days, and the details for how to access the wireless internet services are also in that email. Lastly, hotlines are available to help you. For Canvas, which is the modality that most of the instruction will be delivered by, the LACC, LA Community College District, has set up an online learning call center, and the phone number and details from that are in the email. They're also on our website as well as the district website. Additionally, our Student Services Division at LA Valley College has set up a call center through their Welcome Center. That phone number is 818-947-7218, or you can email start@lavc.edu. Again, all that information is in the email that was sent out to you yesterday as well. We'll continue to have updates sent to you daily, so please take a look and let us know if anything else would be helpful. With that, let me get to a few questions.
What does remote delivery mean?
Oh, what does remote delivery mean? Excellent question. So we used to describe things as online delivery, and for most of us, the remote delivery means that you'll be able to access it online. There's some technical differences between remote delivery and online, but for most of us, it simply means that the class or the service will be available online. Sometimes it'll be at the same time as your class. So some instructors are trying to make it a simulated experience as close to how it would be as if you were in the class as having in-person classes, and others will be delivered asynchronously so that you can access the material at any time. An additional question?
How will hands-on lab classes be delivered in a remote environment?
Hands-on lab classes are all being converted. Our science faculty in particular have been working hard over the last 2 weeks using a software called Labster so that they're able to deliver the lab experience to students, the information to students online. So everything that's delivered in the science labs will be delivered through products like Labster. There are a couple of other ones for specialized classes, but they're all similar in making the lab content be available online.
How will exams be administered?
The district and statewide, there's some software that was purchased called Proctorio. Most exams will be delivered through Proctorio. There may be a few other classes that use other modalities to deliver the exam, mostly online software, but all the exams will be delivered online.
How will financial aid be effective? What about grants? Will a student be able to apply for financial aid to retake classes they had to drop this semester because of the emergency situation?
A question about accessing how financial aid will be affected and access to grants. Financial aid will not be affected. The students with financial aid won't be affected by COVID-19. We are also putting into place additional grant opportunities. Go to the LA Valley College website, and I think it's also available through the student information portal for accessing grants. Is that right?
There's scholarships and then there are grants. So they can access the information through our website, through our financial aid office.
Okay, so go to the LA Valley College website, the financial aid department, and there's more information about that. Our foundation has also put into place some emergency grants. We realize that in these times, there's a lot of unique circumstances, and so they're making some emergency grants available for students. I know there's a lot of demands on you all, including the need to secure Chromebooks or laptops or other things that you may not have planned for. So we'll do our best to support you with that.
Let's see. You mentioned EWs. You have a very persistent person asking if an EW will be visible on the official transcripts.
Yes.
The EWs will be visible on the official transcripts. At least that's the current requirement, but they will have no effect.
How will graduation be affected?
A question about graduation. Obviously, we can't have a graduation right now with thousands of people gathered together. We are having conversations about other options. I saw that one person had earlier posted a comment about possibly delaying graduation to sometime in the future. That's certainly one option. And then there's other creative options that are being looked at so that we can still celebrate all of your accomplishments, acknowledge everything that you've achieved with a celebration. So we're looking for options right now. Our first focus, of course, is getting everyone transitioned to the online or remote classes, and quickly, beginning next week, we'll be identifying options for commencement.
Which is the single class not moving to online instruction?
The class not moving to online is a class in the Students with Disabilities department. Students in that class will be notified. They'll get an email, so we'll communicate directly with the students.
Will the summer session be affected?
Will the summer session be affected? There's no way for us to tell the extent to which the safer at home orders will stay into effect past this semester. They very well could. And so we are planning to offer classes that can be offered fully online. And we're also making additional plans for classes we can add should the orders be lifted and we can have in-person face-to-face instruction. So we'll be prepared to add classes if we can.
Are there any confirmed cases at Valley College?
Question, are there any confirmed cases at Valley College of COVID-19? There is one. One of our faculty members was confirmed positive for COVID-19 recently, just in the last few days. Of course, all of our wishes are for our faculty member, our colleague, to have a full and speedy recovery. Students who were in the class of that faculty member, the class hasn't met for almost 2 weeks, but we did notify the students in the class last night.
Will the preschool be open on Monday?
Question, will the preschool be open on Monday? No, our Child Development Center is going to need to remain closed until at least April 19th, following the safer at home order.
What should I do if I'm not getting a response from my instructor or people in other areas of the campus via email?
What should you do if you're not getting a response from your instructor or other folks on campus? Email start@lavc.edu, the email address that I gave earlier, with any of the difficulties you might be experiencing, and we'll track it down and make sure that there's not a miscommunication on the instructor's email address and that the instructors are being responsive. You can also email me at grippobc@lavc, that's .edu. That's my personal email address, and I'll do my best to help you as well.
Are instructors being instructed to adjust their expectations of student performance given the situation?
Our instructors are being asked to adjust expectations given the pandemic. Yes, actually, the president of our academic senate earlier this week sent a note to all faculty asking faculty members to be flexible, understanding, given the circumstance. So we'll do our best to support you, and we all understand these are challenging times.
How will student workers be paid?
A question about how student workers are going to be paid. We're working out the details of that right now. I know that student workers during these 2 weeks that the college has been closed will continue to get paid. The exact procedures on time reporting and the details of what's going to happen after next week are being determined, but we should have that information within the next couple of days.
Is there an update on any changes to the nursing program? Will students be able to finish as expected on the general timeline?
A question about the nursing program. The college has many colleges in the state of California, has asked the Board of Registered Nursing to be flexible with the requirement related to in-person clinical training from 75% to reduce it to 50%, which would allow the Valley College students to complete on time. As of today, the Board of Registered Nursing has not indicated that they are going to reduce that requirement or be flexible, changing the 75% to 50%. We're also in communication with folks in Sacramento who are looking into legislative options so that students can meet the requirements and complete the course on time. If we're not able to have that flexibility by the Board of Registered Nursing, then we'll plan on continuing the class until students can complete their clinical hours.
How can we pick up the checks from financial aid if the office is closed?
Questions about checks from financial aid, we'll email you information about how to pick up your financial aid disbursements.
They are deposited into their bank account. We do not issue checks.
Will late start classes begin as planned?
Late start classes will begin on Monday. So every class at LA Valley College, except one, will begin on Monday, March 30th. Again, on Tuesday, there's a holiday, so classes won't meet on Tuesday, March 31st, but otherwise classes will proceed. Also, as an additional note on the financial aid disbursement, many of the disbursements, if not all the disbursements, are automated. So if you have additional questions about your particular situation, that's another good opportunity to email start@lavc.edu.
We start on schedule April 14th.
There's also a question about late start classes. Late start classes that started in April will continue at their scheduled time. So all late start classes will continue at the time that they're originally scheduled for.
Also, will late start classes have an EW option as well?
Yes, all classes will have the option of an EW.
How will courses, kind of touched on this, but we had a repeat question, like the CNC, specialized equipment, making move to online transitions or online delivery?
Classes, career technical education classes that rely on lab facilities, the instructors are working hard to find creative and unique solutions to allow students to complete. For many of the classes, students have already had a significant amount of lab time, so the instructors are working to identify ways of completing the class without requiring in-person instruction. So with each individual class, you want to contact the instructor to see how they've identified ways to allow you to complete it. There's another question about whether or not students will get full credit for the semester, and the answer is yes. All classes will be proceeding with full credit. None of them will be partial credit.
Will students have classes on March 30th, Cesar Chavez?
March 31st?
March 3rd, base of March 30th is the question.
No, we will be open the 30th.
March 30th, the question about Cesar Chavez Day, which is March 31st. We're open March 30th, and Cesar Chavez Day is March 31st, which is a day that will be closed.
Will classes be online for the rest of the semester?
Question whether or not classes will be online for the rest of the semester. In all likelihood, they will. The current orders and restrictions go until May, but in all likelihood, at least for the lecture classes or the classes that can be moved online easily or to remote learning, they'll complete. But if we're allowed to have some face-to-face experiences, with those experiences being safe, then we'll certainly pursue that as well. But we're not planning, we're planning to enable students to complete the course in a remote format or online.
Will I be able to see a college counselor?
Will you be able to see a college counselor? Yes, counseling services are available. No face-to-face services, but counseling services will be available. In the email that I sent you yesterday, there was a link to more information about how to make a counseling appointment and get the services of a counselor.
Will Helping Hands reopen? Will the food pantry be available?
Will Helping Hands reopen or the food pantry? Currently, we're not able to receive any deliveries of food, so we're not able to make disbursements. Should that change, we'll be looking for opportunities of making food and other basic needs available to students. So as soon as we can, we will make those available.
Will the student store be open this semester?
Will the student store be open this semester? The bookstore is open for online orders only. And if you go to the LA Valley College website and to the bookstore, you'll be able to place an order for a book and they will ship it to you. Please allow a little bit of time for the shipping. I understand that shipping is taking a little bit more time than normal, but you will be able to purchase your textbooks online.
Will pending IGETC transcript for approvals for UCCSUs be approved, be completed prior to transfer admission offers in late April?
What's the,
Will pending transfer?
how about the next question?
Got you.
I'll also comment to some of the really specific technical questions. We'll take all the information people are asking and we'll post a question and answer online so that we can get more information out to students, make it available to you. So we really appreciate you joining us today and asking these questions. They're all really helpful for that frequently asked question that we'll post online.
What is being done to sanitize the rooms at the college?
Question about what is being done to sanitize the classrooms at the college. We are going to ensure that the entire college is sanitized before we begin return to face-to-face instruction. And we're looking at a few options. We've, of course, continued to clean the campus, but we're looking at some additional options to ensure that the entire campus has been cleaned and sanitized before any of the face-to-face services or instruction continue.
We still keep having questions about graduation, if it's canceled or not, so it might be helpful to address again.
There's a few more questions that have come in about graduation. Maybe a couple of folks have joined us more recently. We are looking for options for graduation. Some of them that have been proposed include postponing graduation and other options. Other folks have been looking at options that are creative, but not a postponing. So students can still celebrate. We can join you in the celebration of your accomplishments this semester. After this week, we'll transition to addressing some of the longer term issues like commencement, and then get more information out to you about these options.
Will the semester be ending as planned? Will there be an extension for 2-week classes being extended through June 8th?
There's a question about whether or not the semester will end at the regularly scheduled date, in particular with late start classes. For nearly all classes, they will end at the scheduled time, the scheduled date for the semester, unless something else happens. We're moving forward with plans to have them end at the regularly scheduled time, except for the handful of classes. Out of the 1,400 classes, there's 30, mostly in nursing, emergency medical technician, and similar areas that require in-person activities, whether the clinical hours or ambulance ride-alongs. For those classes, if students aren't able to complete those experiences and we still don't have flexibility from the outside agencies, then we'll extend the semester until students are able to complete them.
Okay, will class sizes be reduced when returning to campus?
Will class sizes be reduced when returning to campus? No, the class sizes, the students who are registered in the classes remain in the same classes. We won't be removing anyone from any class section that they're currently in.
A lot of financial aid questions. One of you asking if we will be dispersing financial aid payments for spring early.
A lot of questions about financial aid. Financial aid will continue, and we'll do our best to have it be uninterrupted and unaffected by COVID-19 and by any of the changes. Look for continued information to be sent out about financial aid. We'll also, I know that there's a lot of questions about financial aid. We'll post information about that in the next week or so.
Sorry. Will there be refunds issued for parking passes?
A question about refunds for parking passes. We are looking into refunds for parking passes since obviously folks can't come onto campus and likely won't be able to for the rest of the semester. As we get more clarity on whether or not we have the ability to do that, we'll be sending that information out to students.
Will degrees and certificates be sent by mail?
Will degrees and certificates be sent by mail? Transcripts can be mailed, yes.
And certificates and degrees are always mailed, so
Yeah.
we will continue our practice.
And the hard copy degrees and certificates are also always mailed. So that is unaffected by the pandemic. With that, I want to thank everyone again for taking the time to join me today. We'll continue to gather the questions that have been that you're submitting and get information out to you. We'll post the frequently asked questions, and I'll send out another email to you all with another YouTube live date so we can keep you updated. I'm sure we'll need to do this at least once a week, but we can increase that frequency to the extent that it's helpful. Thank you all again. And again, I appreciate your resiliency, and we'll do our very best to support you in these times. Thank you.